make this little set of earrings that I'm calling Dressy Diamonds. Now, this is a combination between right angle weave and netting stitch. It's really fairly simple. It's a fast moving project. You should be able to complete a set of earrings in about an hour. I have also designed, or I am designing, a bracelet to go with this. I connect the units differently. It takes a little bit more work, but to start, we'll learn the little units, and it'll make it a little bit easier when I make the bracelet, perhaps a necklace. I'm not going to promise that, but I may make a necklace to match too. We will see. But today I'm going to show you how to make these little earrings, and let's go ahead and look and see what we need to make this project. Okay, for this project you'll need 2 ear wires. I'm using 2 sterling silver ear wires that I got from Silvex Craft a couple of months ago. I'll be using those. Of course you'll need 2. Then you'll need a 6mm round bead. You'll need 16 of them. And I am using a drook. It's kind of a mauve pearlized drook. And of course you can use any kind of 6mm round you want, a crystal, a pearl, a fire polish bead, whatever, as long as it's 6mm round. Then you will need 2 4mm round crystals, or whatever you want that's 4mm round, of course. I'm using 2 clear thunder polish 4mm round crystals. And then you'll need 15O seed bead. I'm using a Toho galvanized silver tone. And you'll need 11O seed beads. And I am using a bronze 11O Toho. You will also need a beading needle. I'm using size 10. And I'm using 8-pound fire line. And I put onto my needle a little over 1 arm's length of thread. And we'll go ahead and get started with this project. Okay, to start, you will pick up a 6mm round drook, and then you will pick up 3 11O seed beads. And then you will pick up another drook, or whatever 6mm round you're using, and then 3 11O seed beads, 1 more drook, 3 11O seed beads, and another 6mm round. I'm going to kind of push them down because it's getting short on my needle here. And then 3 more 11O seed beads. So this is what you will have. You will have a 6mm round, 3 11Os, 6mm round, 3 11Os, 6mm round, 3 11Os, 6mm round, 3 11Os. You'll start with your 6mm round bead and you'll end with your series of 11O seed beads. And then bring them to the end of your thread. Let me back off a little bit here. You don't have to leave much of a tail, just enough to hold on to. And then come back through all of your beads. And once you've gone through all the beads, hold on to your tail and the beads and just pull your working thread. And then you'll bring them around into a circle like this, and then you will tie a knot. Make sure there's no slack in the thread between your beads. Make sure that the knot goes down between the beads. But don't tie them really, really tight or you won't be able to get through your beads again as we sew through again. And so I'm going to go ahead and sew back through all of my beads, just to make sure I have a very secure base to start with here. Once you get all the way around, go past where your knot is, right here, go into the 6mm round and then through the next series of 11 O's, and then just exit your next 6mm round so your knot isn't right there in your way. So just sew around until you get to one of your bigger beads. And then we're going to add the middle portion of our unit. So we're going to go into, we're coming out of this bead right here, the 6mm round. We're going to go into 2 11-0 seed beads and exit, just like this. We are then going to pick up 3 15-0 seed beads onto our needle, and then 1 11-0, and then 3, and get some more seed beads, 15-0 seed beads. So this is what you will have on your needle. 3 15-0s, an 11-0, and 3 15-0s. You're exiting this little 11-0, coming this direction with your thread on this side. So we're going to go in the same direction to the very next center 11-0 in our very next division between our 6mm beads. So we're just going to push these down a little here and just go right into this center 11-0, just like this, and pull through. Turn your work. We're coming out this direction of this 11-0, so we want to stay traveling in the same direction, and we'll go into the next 11-0 in the next division here between our 6mm rounds. So we'll pick up 3 15-0 seed beads, and 11-0, and 3 15-0 seed beads, like this. We're coming out of this bead right here. We're going to go directly into the center 11-0. And pull. Make sure there's no slack in your thread. You don't have to pull it tremendously tight, but make sure there's no slack. Pick up 3 15-0 seed beads and an 11-0 and 3 15-0 seed beads, like this. You're coming out of this bead here, this little center 11-0, in the same direction. You want to go over to the next center 11-0. Here, and pull. We're then going to go from this 11-0 we're exiting here to the one we started in. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pick up 3 15-0 seed beads and 1 11-0 and 3 15-0 seed beads, like this. We're exiting this little 11-0 here. We're going to go into the 11-0 we started in. Come into the opposite side of the bead. Okay, it's being stubborn. You get up here. Like this. And just pull it down to where they're all in the center, like this. All the little nets you just made. Now you're exiting this 11-0 here. We need to get up to the tip of this 11-0 so that we can join these 3 11-0s together. So make sure there's no slack in your thread, that everything is laying really neat, and come up. You're coming out of this 11-0 right here. You're going to come up into these 3 11-0 or 15-0s and exit the 11-0 on top, right there. Now I'm exiting this 11-0 right here. I am going to sew just into the 11-0s on all of the peaks. So I'm going to go from this one. You don't want to cross over your bead and go to the next one. You always want to go the same direction your thread is exiting from your bead. So if I'm exiting here, I'm going to go to this next 11-0. If you cross over, it won't lay correctly. So pay attention to the direction your thread is coming out of your bead. I've sewn from this one to this one. Now I'm going to go directly to this one and pull. Then I'm going to turn my work and go into the next one and pull. And then I'm going to go into, coming out of this one, I'm going to go into the first one I started in and pull. Now I'm going to snip this tail off because it's driving me crazy. I'll leave a little bit of length so that I can singe it down, create a little knot with my lighter. But at this point, this is good enough just to get it out of my way. Now I'm coming out of this one after I've sewn all the way around. I'm going to sew all the way around all 4 of these 11-0s again, simply to tighten them, secure them, and draw them closer together. So I've come through these. I'm going to go through this next one. And then through the next one. And then through the first one. Now, when your piece looks like this, and it's nice and tight, you will be exiting one of your 11-0s, and I'm exiting right here, so I need to get up to my top drook here, so I have to go through my 15-0s, and sometimes it's a little tight, so you just have to get your needle in there and go through all 3 of these 15-0 seed beads, but don't go through the 11-0 on top, just the 15-0s like this, and pull your thread up through, just like that. Now we're just going to ignore these little 11-0s and we're going to pop up into the 6mm round on top here. So I'm just going to go into this drook right here. Oops, pull my thread a little easier than that. And this is where we're at, right here. So we're going to add another unit diagonally on this. Now I am designing a bracelet where we will put the units together differently. I'll show you a little sample that I'm designing. It isn't finished, but this is what I've made, and I'm going to make a video on this, make a bracelet out of this. But on this one, for our earrings, we're not going to lay our units side by side like in that bracelet. We're going to do them diagonally, so we have 2 little diamond shapes. So here is where we're going to begin our next unit, and we're going to do that by picking up 3 11-0 seed beads, back off just a little bit, like this. Then we're going to pick up a 6mm round, 3 11-0 seed beads, a 6mm round, 3 11-0 seed beads, and a 6mm round. Now, then 3 more 11-0 seed beads, excuse me. Now, this is what you will have. You won't need 4 this time because you're going to share this bead here. This little project is a combination between right angle weave and netting. So this is going to be our next right angle weave unit. So you'll start with 3 11-0s, a 6mm, 3 11-0s, a 6mm, 3 11-0s, a 6mm, and 3 11-0s. Bring them down, and we will come directly through the other side of the drook. So we're coming out here, we're going to go into the opposite side and pull them down tight. Now this unit is really wobbly, so I'm going to sew around the entire unit again. And start with my 11-0s here. Just make sure you don't miss any of the beads and sew completely around your entire unit. Once you get up through the last 3, go into your droog. Because I can't get through there, so let's pull this through. Then we'll go back through the droog. There we go. Like this. Now we want to do the same netting stitch. So we need to, our thread is exiting right here. We need to crawl up into 2 11-0 seed beads so that we're exiting the middle 11-0. So just go into 2 like this and exit the second one and pull. Now we are going to pick up 3 15-0 seed beads, an 11-0, and 3 15-0 seed beads. Like this. We are exiting from this 11-0 seed bead. Now we don't want to cross over the top of it and go to this side. We want to go in the same direction, always in the same direction. So if we're coming out here, we're going to go over to this middle 11-0 here. So I'm going to drop these down a little bit so that they're not in my way. And then I'm going to go from this 11-0 here over to this 11-0. And just exit it. So I have my first little netting stitch here. Back off just a little. Now we're going to pick up 3 15-0 seed beads, an 11-0, and 3 15-0 seed beads. We're exiting this 11-0 here. We're going to go over to this next 11-0. Go into the center 11-0 and pull your knitting down. Now we're going to pick up 3 15-0 seed beads, an 11-0, 3 15-0 seed beads. We're coming out of this 11-0 here. We're going to go into the next 11-0 in the next section, dividing the 6mm rounds, and just go into the middle bead and pull. Bring them into the center of your unit. And now we've got our last one, so we're going to go from this 11-0 over to the one we started in. So we're going to pick up 3 15-0 seed beads, an 11-0, and 3 15-0 seed beads. Now we're exiting this middle little 11-0 right here. We're going to go over into the one we started in and go through it like this. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Now you're exiting this little 11-0 here. We're going to go up into the 3 15-0s right above it, on the side we're exiting from. Go up through those 15-0s. Oops. And then hop into the 11-0 on the top of the peak here. Right here. And then we will sew all the way around all 4 of the 11-0s, just like we did last time. Remembering not to cross over the top of the bead, but to go in the same direction we're coming out of the bead. So don't go back here, go over here. We're coming out of this side, we're going to go into the next bead here. And pull. Then go into the next 11-0. If you can pick up 2 at a time, you can do that too. Like this. And then up through the next one. And then I'm going to go through all of them one more time. So into this one, into this one, and the next one. Pull tight. And then I'm going to work my way up to this one so I can exit the top of this drook at the top of the diamond here. So I'm going to go through this one. Then I'm going to go through the 11-0 right at the peak here of the diamond. And I'm going to go up the 15-0 seed beads on the other side of it, just like this. And pull. And now I'm going to ignore these 11-0s and go up into my drook. Back off a little. Now I am going to pick up 3 15-0 seed beads, and a crystal, and then I'm going to pick up an ear wire. Actually, I think I'm going to pick up 4 15-0 seed beads, a crystal, maybe if I can get a crystal, and then an 11-0, and then an ear wire, just because I want to. I don't have a reason. So what I picked up was 4 15-0s, a crystal, and an 11-0, and then my ear wire. I want to drop it down. Make sure your ear wire loops are closed tight so that your thread can't get through. It looks like mine is, so we're okay there. And then come back through, after you pull all this down, come back through the 11-0 and the crystal. So just come through this one and ignore the 15-0s and pull. Then pick up 4 15-0s, and come through the opposite side of the drook. So we came out here, we're going to go into this side now. And then just exit the drook. And now, there we go. Make sure that your thread is all straightened out, everything looks good. It wants to attach to my ear wire strangely here. Okay, there we go. So now I am going to sew up these 15-0s up through the crystal, up through the 11-0, through the ear wire, and back down through all of the beads again and go out the opposite side. And then I'm just going to come around and do it again. Do that twice and we'll be back. Okay, so I've sewn through a couple of times and secured my ear wire onto my earring. And now I'm coming out of this little 6mm round here after securing my last round. And I'm just going to sew down into these little seed beads right here. And I'm going to sew down into the drook here. And I'm going to catch a little half-hitch knot right here. And make sure it goes down between my beads. And then sew down through a couple more. Go down through these little seed beads here. And go into the drook here. And then I'm going to cut off my thread, and the little tiny bit I have left right here, I'll just curl it in like this, and this is what it looks like. And this is what the set looks like. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a quick, easy, fast-moving little project. I will be showing you how to do the bracelet in my next video. And it takes a little bit longer. I put the units together a little bit differently. But it's really, once you have this little stitch down with this little unit down, it'll make it a lot easier. So I thought I would do these first to help with the bracelet. Anyway, this is what they look like. I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial. See you next time. Bye-bye.